6 months after the accident, and then once that happened, it was just like it felt a lot like tick tick tick. Yep, he's fine.
Yeah.
See you later.
Okay.
And I also thought I was fine. I passed the test. You know, like I was there. I'm not a psychologist.
Right.
And then when I was looking for work, it took a while to get work. And when I would get work, for a period of, I would say, probably 3 years, I was continuously fired. I was continuously running into issues with attention to detail and memory,
and
which
that
sounds quite
and that
simple.
was obviously from your brain injury.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I never had those issues before, so I was not only getting used to having like attention to detail issues, but at the same time I was healing. At the same time, every other person around me looked at me at times as though I was an idiot because I wasn't disabled technically.
Yeah,
right. They couldn't see anything noticeable wrong with you, so it's hard for them to understand what you're actually going through.
It's really, that's really hard to be in that situation. I'm sure. And did they diagnose you with a brain injury like in the hospital?
Yeah. Initially, they did. And yeah, it really was. I'm not exaggerating. The 6-month period where I was doing day hospital and actually lived in the rehabilitation ward. Okay, that was really the only time that I was considered disabled in any way. After that, it was kind of like, I couldn't believe.
He's fine.
I still can't believe.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't believe that hearing it because I know because Australia does have quite a good social system. I know many people that, for instance, you could go, if you did have a debilitation related to, let's say, a depression or other psychological issues that are more defined, you could certainly go get care from a psychologist. They would sign the right documents, and then the government would pay you as a sick person. Now, that never happened to me. I technically wasn't anything.
Because you passed all the psychological evals, right? You passed all the stuff that they put you through. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. And then I realized there were all these challenges, but I didn't know them well enough myself, and I also didn't know what to expect. And I was healing at the same time, getting better at my thinking detail,
healing your broken bones along with your brain injury. It's that's a lot to be thinking about
for sure,
especially for.
So I think I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go for it.
Oh, go ahead.
I was. Me? I was just going to say that. I was just going to say that. That's why I think kind of my advice after saying the chaos is that people, if they do see small things, small issues they're having, for me it was attention to detail. So I work a lot in communications. So seeing like missing certain parts of language in documents and things like that continuously happened, it's the time for someone to go and get help immediately. And go and get help to get someone to sign that document or get someone to offer some form of therapy as well. So I think I personally think that I probably didn't seek enough support because the support really wasn't tailored to what I needed. I did feel that, they kind of, I felt like if you want to be a disabled worker, you have to go, you can only go and work at a supermarket and pack shelves. There wasn't really any good employment agencies or anything like that. So that's an issue that I had. And I think that people should still be seeking those things.
That's a perfect segue into what I want to talk about next. I want to talk about, you said in the questions we had you answer, you said exercise and education has helped you out so much. And so can you see any good things that came out of them not knowing that you necessarily had that bad of a brain injury, because that made you seek out your own form of rehabilitation?
Yeah, like I guess I'm more tailored for instance, I did not, it's important that everyone should know, I didn't go to university and suddenly become a lawyer, and I'd never studied law. It wasn't like that. I studied social sciences, and I essentially got 2 postgraduate degrees, but focused on stuff that I was already good at. And so, but it definitely helped me with that attention to detail, like just little things in university documents that I would repeat things or something like that in the beginning that I obviously no longer, well, not obviously, but I no longer did a couple of years down the track, which is good. So that helped me there. And exercise, I think exercise, the point of Iron Will as well is it's showing that really, like any little tiny bit of exercise, we're talking if you need to, if you do have an issue with your leg, like for instance, I broke my femur, the large bone on my left leg, so I was limping around in the beginning. And now, like I recently trained to do a marathon.
Awesome.
So
that's great, man.
Yeah, I didn't actually do it because we all know coronavirus happened. But
all the rules and regulations.
But
it's not just in your country, man. It's our country too, dude. This whole thing, lots of races have been canceled this year.
It
sucks. But you can still train. You can still do the training, right?
Yep.
Oh, totally. And that's the thing. Like now I run, and like I just, I'm also cautious in terms of I can run on concrete, but I'd rather run on grass if possible. Take those kind of little steps that help you. So I guess what I was saying with exercise is that the smallest amount of exercise that you do or that you can do, it's something. It's not about running a marathon tomorrow. You start somewhere. Yeah. And that's the really important thing, because a lot of people look at, big gym buff people and they say, oh, I'll never beat that. I'm not going to bother. Yeah. Well, most people are never going to, be Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's just reality.
It totally,
But it helps you regardless. Physical movement really helps, with endorphins. It helps a whole range of, I guess, your body is entirely interconnected. In the physical sense as well as the mental sense. It's all really one and the same. So I think that's why exercise was important for me as well.
Dude, that's great. That's a common theme amongst actually every single person that we've had. Yep. That is a common thing, is exercise is one of those.
And we've interviewed like people that had different injuries than a brain injury, but they all say the same things.
Yeah, even PTSD people that we've had on here, depression, anything like that. And like you said, it's all interconnected. The brain and body and how they function together. And exercise is one of those things that we're just going to call this exercise from now on.
Yeah.
This is the Iron Will exercise. Yeah. It's awesome. Well, I'm glad it's been able to help you.
Yeah, definitely, and it really did, and I think that's why I also think at that diagnosis stage it was so important that I felt that what the doctors were doing in hospital were talking about all of the physical side, but not focusing on the physical side of my brain, and then obviously that was to the detriment of my future recovery. So I guess it's important that we think about it as one. That the mental side, whether it be a brain injury, which is actually physical damage, or anything really, is just as important as breaking your femur. Just as important.
Right.
So should be recognized.
So you had a friend that had a stroke. Like, I don't know how close it was to your injury.
Yes, yeah.
I was just going to say, so he began a master's degree at the same place you studied yours, which is ironic.
Right. It is. And I guess the important thing is that he, obviously we're not one and the same, we are different, but he saw the same as I did, the value in education and how that focus of education really helped heal the brain gradually.
Yeah, I think
I just think it was really interesting.
I think like to be learning something new, that's when I really got into baseball, is after my brain injury. And the beauty of baseball is it's such a
boring sport. I'm just kidding.
It's such a involved sport. And there's just like, even with the two separate leagues, it's just a lot to be thinking about.
Mm-hmm. And it's helped you a lot, right?
Yeah.
So we call that neuroplasticity.
Oh, yeah.
When the brain starts to interconnect new connections because you're learning something new. And it doesn't even have to be book smarts. It could be, like you're saying, learning some new things about baseball and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Helping that brain become stronger with a new neural network. It's pretty cool.
That's right. And that's something actually, yesterday it was, I'm not kidding, I was at the markets with a friend, and she had another friend who's a doctor, and we were talking about that fact that education is not just about, okay, you go to university, tick, 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 you get this many marks for this particular subject. No, it's about knowledge and gaining knowledge, and that's why, long before universities existed, older people had wisdom.
Yeah,
and that was because education is more complicated than just textbooks. It's about experience. It definitely is.
Definitely.
But anything really does help. So I guess I felt in the beginning, I felt a little bit like the recommendations, or without recommendations from the hospital, was kind of like, okay, well, you're going to go relax and sit in a room and stare out the window. But I wanted to be doing something, keeping my brain active in some way. And I think that's what's important, that everyone with any type of mental injury should keep your brain active. And that, again, does not mean read textbooks. It means just keeping it active with whatever really triggers your brain, to work.
Yeah, for sure. And like that, I said before about baseball, like that's one thing that I really paid attention to, like, and I found out a lot about it, but and like you said, it's just important to be thinking about something new.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that neuroplasticity is so important. It's far more important than, trying to get a mark of, 99 in some mathematics test if you hate math. It's more about using the brain, definitely, and something that you love. I always say to people, like, when they say, how did you heal well? I say, well, I followed my passions, things I found interesting. And that's really just it. So whether it could have been music, like if I played the guitar and I was trying to relearn, how to play new songs and also how to play the guitar or something like that, that's exactly the same.
How'd that go for you?
Oh, no, I don't play the guitar.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was an example.
I wish I did, though. I wish I did.
Well, it's interesting because you could even apply exercise to that point as well, because when you exercise, you actually secrete brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which helps you activate new brain cells. And when those new brain cells activate, they're in a prime position to learn something new. So I always thought, like, it'd be cool to have like a gym. I have a gym, but like to have a gym tailored specifically to learning, like a learning gym.
Yeah.
So you do an exercise, right? You work the body, you secrete and produce more of these neurotropic factor, these brain cells, and then all of a sudden you have them go through something that requires them to think and concentrate and all that kind of stuff. It could be word puzzles. It could be whatever.
It could be an obstacle.
It could be an obstacle course.
Yeah,
and we do that kind of stuff at my gym. We do some pretty interesting exercises that work the brain and the body at the same time. But like, that's why I think so many people with brain injuries latch onto the exercise as well.
Oh yeah. It's
Totally.
been huge for me. Like, and I recently went through a period of time that I wasn't able to go to the gym because they
closed it.
Yeah, they closed it. But Anyway, and I